The main thing I want to talk about today is not necessarily the specific techniques we look at, which of course we're going to talk about, but the broad concepts and ideas that we want to think about when we're doing leg locks, okay? So let's just break down a leg lock on a very, very sort of like basic, simplistic level, right? A leg lock consists of two main things, right? Generally speaking, there are exceptions to this. Most leg locks are going to consist of an entanglement where my legs are above the knee, okay, which will be over here, and some kind of submission, okay? There's a kid banging on the door. So for instance, it could be a heel hook, could be an ankle lock, whatever, right? So that's what a leg lock is primarily going to consist in, okay? Some kind of entanglement above the knee and some kind of submission on the lower half of the leg, right? And the goal is gonna be with my legs to be able to use my hips to do something to the leg, whether it's compressing the knee, whether it's bridging for an ankle lock, etc., right? We're gonna do different things with our hips. But these are the two main things we're always gonna look for, okay? We're gonna talk about different ways of getting these two main things, okay? Different orders of operating, right? The first way we're gonna look at is the most basic, which is entering into a position, so getting my legs above the knee, okay, entangling him with my legs, and then getting the submission. But we're gonna see that's not the only way to operate, right? We're also gonna look at times where let's say we catch a submission, then we pull him and we get our legs in, okay? That's another way to operate. And then we're gonna look at different ways. Sometimes you get a submission, you get a position, then you get the submission, he escapes the position, then you get a new position, right? But we'll get to that, all right? So go to your knees first. So let's look at what I consider to be one of the easiest leg entries you're ever gonna learn, okay? It's really, really useful, okay? So Michael's in front of me. I'm gonna take, we'll take grips like this. So these are some of my favorite grips to make. I take one down grip and one up grip, like this, with my elbows relatively bent. So this elbow's gonna be kind of high, this one's gonna be kind of low. I do this because what I wanna do is create a situation where for him to strip these two grips, he has to pull in different ways. If I go like this, both down grips, yeah, exactly, he can go in one direction, right? He'd both go up and he can strip. But if I go here, he has to strip in different ways, and it's a little bit like harder for your brain to process. You're like, wait, hold on, this has to go here, this has to go here, right? So you get a moment where he's gonna strip either one, and then you can switch, okay? So we go like this. One is going down. Look at how my elbow's bent. And here, my elbow's also bent. You don't want to have straight arms. It's not going to be very strong. You want to go like this, bent wrists. Bent elbows. We catch, and let's say he strips this one. For now, let's just say that's what he does, right? He could strip this one, in which case we have other options, right? But for now, let's just assume it's this one. So he strips that. Now what I'm going to do is I come for an arm drag, okay? Everyone, for the most part, knows what an arm drag is, right? What's my goal with an arm drag? My goal with an arm drag is to be able to move around the side and take us back. So what do people do frequently to stop the arm drag? They pick their leg up. Now it's very hard for me to get that, right? But what he's just done is he's opened up his hips. Now I can grip. I'm gonna grip behind the knee here and at the top of the calf. When I grip, I want you guys to grip like this, where my wrists are bent and my elbows are coming into my hips. So we're gonna talk about this a lot today. This is called a false grip, okay? It's called a false grip because, so if I were to grip like this, like with my hands, like my muscles, this is like a true grip. This is a grip, but really the strength of it is more that it's like a hook, right? Like a grappling hook, right? So that's why it's called a false grip. So we go here, my elbows are bending. This is much stronger than gripping with my hands like this. This is not very strong, right? I'm relying on my muscles to squeeze it. It's not very good. But here, I'm using the structure of my arm, right? It's like a grappling hook, right? So I attach like so. And I like to grab right here underneath the back of the knee and at the calf. You could go here too, but I like this better, because it leads into other good grips, okay? So anyway, I'm here, I grip. My right heel is gonna dig into the floor. I shoot my left leg through. Very important, guys, that my knee of my right leg doesn't go here. Obviously, we're not trying to pull him into mount on us, right? So we go here. Now, if you look at the position of my left hand, The reason why I like the grip at the top of the calf is it's very easy to go into this grip here. So we'll just move this way. This grip here is really, really useful. We're gonna talk about this later today. This prevents a lot of things he can do to smash me here. Okay, now from here, we just put our foot on the hip, and then this knee here, let's turn around all the way. My right knee covers the inside of my left ankle, okay? This is very important, okay? This allows everything to be like closed, right? It's a closed loop. Like whereas here it's open, here it's open. It's a lot easier for him to get out, okay? But if I go here, everything is closed, right? Now it's not super tight, but it is still closed, okay? So yeah, now we have what we call single leg X or standard ashigarami, okay? Either name is fine, okay? Let's look at that again. This was I think the first entry that I ever got really, really good at, okay? I remember when I was a blue belt, this is like the main thing I did. I do this all the time, okay? Because it's so easy, right? Like, if they don't pick the leg up, you're gonna take the back. Pulls that one away. In real life, obviously, it could be either, right? But then we have different things we have to do, okay? So we're here. I go for the arm drag. Do you guys know Napoleon Dynamite? You guys know the movie? Sometimes I feel like when I'm teaching, I'm like, remember the Rex Kwon Do clip where it's like, your arm, your other arm. Anyway, yeah, all right. So I pull that one away. Now I go here, now he picks up that leg. Because this is not a bad move on his part. It actually is what I would probably do here. He's trying to prevent me from getting his back. I'd rather someone go after my leg than take my back, right? They take your back, they get 3 to 4 points, depending on the rule set, and they maybe choke you out, right? They get your leg, okay, they get your leg, they might submit you, but they're not getting any points. Okay, so he picks the leg up, I go here. Now my grip switch, let's just move again, over here. So guys, pay attention to the grips. I go here and look how the wrist is bent. Okay, do this slow, okay, we don't have to rush through this. Make sure your wrist is bent. Something else you'll notice, the more advanced you get, the more you're gonna notice this. We wanna control the top of the thigh and regulate its ability to come into the torso, okay? We'll talk more about that later. But for now, just look how my forearm covers the top of the thigh, okay? See here, I'm not really doing that, it's just my hand. Here it's my forearm. This is a much stronger wedge. Okay? Now I grip here. My elbows are not wide, they're pointing at my own hips. I shoot my left leg in, and now look, my left hand, put your forearm and elbow as much behind his ankle as possible. So your elbow should be coming into your ribs. Now we go foot on the hip, and we cover. And we have, this is considered probably the most basic leg entanglement, right? It's basic, but it's still very, very useful. Someone asked a good question, which is, okay, when do I let go of the arm, and should I always let go of the arm? When I'm doing the arm drag, and do I fake the arm drag, or is it a real arm drag? It's a real arm drag. If I'm doing a fake arm drag, let's say I'm like this, no one's gonna respect that, right? They're just gonna just look at me, maybe post, and yeah, nothing's gonna happen. You have to actually really do the arm drag. They have to feel you moving around the corner, otherwise you're not gonna get this reaction, okay? So, sometimes when I do this, right, let's just turn a little bit this way. Yeah, perfect, good. Sometimes when I do this, let's say I have the arm drag, and I start to go around the corner, I'm gonna let go of with my left hand at the right wrist, right, the arm that I'm attacking, right? I'm going around the corner. Sometimes there's a delay on him picking the leg up. If there's a long enough delay as I'm moving around the corner, but then he picks it up at the last minute, then I'm just gonna grab with one hand. I'm gonna keep holding to the right tricep with my right hand. Then I'll shoot through, and I go here. And guys, this is a very important detail. Pay attention to this. Let's make sure we get this. See this hand here? I want it ultimately to end here. The reason is because when he goes to smash me, the way he's gonna do it is by retracting the heel and the ankle, okay? So let's say I'm here, right? So he goes to pull this back. It doesn't really do a good job of regulating that. But if I put basically my whole forearm behind here, and now when he goes to bring it back, it's way harder. Does that make sense? It's a larger wedge behind his ankle, okay? This is okay, and there are times when we're gonna do this kind of a grip, right? There are uses for it. But initially, I like to go here because we don't want someone to smash us, okay? So we go from here to here. So look at my left elbow. See how it's on the side of the ankle? That's not what we want. I want it behind the ankle. Your left elbow should basically be pinching into your ribs, okay? Like it should be very, very tight to your ribs. Here, it's his ankle's in between my elbow and my ribs. Yeah, he can, exactly. Nothing is stopping that from going back, okay? I want here. Whereas now there's a wedge behind it. He goes to bring it back. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's obviously it's a lot harder, right? So yeah, let's go back. And again, this detail of like when we're letting go of the arm, right? I'm here, he pulls this one away, I go here. If right away he pulls this arm back and picks his leg up, that's when I go two on one on the leg, okay? This is a fast happening thing. You're gonna feel it in the transitions, right? Like you're gonna snatch, he's gonna pull away, you go here, you'll go like that. Or when I establish my grips, I go to go around the corner, there's a delay, he picks his leg up now, yeah, then I'll hold this a little longer, right? You could even hold it all the way up until you get the position. Yeah, and then he'll probably pull the arm out. So you're gonna choose based on how quickly he responds to the threat of the arm drag. Additionally, guys, if he doesn't pick the leg up, I'm gonna take his back, right? Like you have to, as soon as I get this arm drag, I'm not thinking entering the legs. Your brain has to go, okay, I'm taking the back, right? So pay attention to these grips. I get the wrist, I try to rotate the wrist out a little bit, elbow high and bent, my grip here. I'm thinking of taking the back, right? It's only when he reacts to it that I change what I'm doing and I go into the legs. But what you're gonna find, very frequently people are gonna react like this, okay? So when you do this, first thought should be, I'm taking the back, okay? But then when he gives you this reaction, okay, obviously this is happening fast, you have to sort of have this dialed in ahead of time. But when he gives you this reaction, boom, you punch in to the position, okay? So come over here. Now a third reaction you might get is this. Sometimes you'll go here, he'll pick that leg up, and then when you grip and you start to shoot in, before you get there, he brings his hip to the floor. Okay, then we have to follow up, and I would go right into a body lock. Okay? So that's a third reaction you might get. Okay? Something that we're gonna talk today about is using leg locks not just to submit people, but also to get on top of people, okay? People will very frequently defend leg locks by putting their hips to the floor. Okay, it makes sense. We'll talk more about this later, but putting your hips to the floor is a pretty good defensive strategy against leg locks because of a specific thing that's happening with your hips and your knees, okay? But we'll touch on that later. The point is, for now, okay, first I'm going for the back. He blocks that by picking up his leg. Then he might see that happening, boom, put his hips to the floor. Okay, so we're gonna come on top, and we're not just gonna come on top, but we're gonna come on top and we're gonna get something very, very strong. We're gonna get a body lock, okay? Because as we're coming on top, there's a lot of extension at the hips, we can go right into the body lock, okay? And this is all happening very fast. You gotta drill this a lot, train it a lot, but it's a very good like combo of moves. So I'm here, I come for the arm drag. I go for the arm drag, he picks the leg up, and now as I'm shooting in, he goes, oh, that was not a good, well, I think it is a good move, but he goes, oh, I don't want this guy to get into my legs. So he puts the hips down. Now when he puts the hips down, look at where I am. I'm holding his leg. You could shoot through here and get this position, but when someone's hips are on the floor, it's way easier for him to push against me, and now bring his hips back, and it's like, oh no, but stay down. So like here he pushes back, and it's like harder, it's harder to tie people up, okay? It's much more difficult, okay? So instead, what I want you guys to do is, we hold here, and now look, my right leg is gonna come here, so I'm gonna heist. This hand is gonna push up, and then right away, I'm gonna go inside at the hips. With one arm, my right arm first, and then my left arm. And then he'll bring his knees in, and we have a body lock. Okay? So again, we get these grips. I go for the drag, he picks the leg up, I go to shoot in, he brings his hips down. Yeah, now, we'll talk about this more later, why this is harder to attack the legs here. This is a much more difficult position to attack leg locks. It's not impossible by any means, but it's more difficult. When you and I were rolling yesterday, right? What is your name again?
Hoy.
Hoy. When Hoy and I were rolling yesterday, right? She was putting her legs to the floor a lot. she was sitting down, and if I shut in, she was able to push and get away. Okay, so instead I was adjusting by like coming up more. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Like, this is not a bad strategy defensively for him. So we've got to capitalize upon it and say, okay, it's hard for me to get the leg locks now. I'm going to come up and I'm going to get my points instead. Okay, so now here I control this leg. My right leg is going to tuck so I can get up. Use your hand as well. And then if you can, we want to go right into a body lock. Okay? He's probably going to bring his knees in, and then we'll most likely end up here. And this is very strong, okay? Does this make sense, guys? Yeah. Any questions before we get started?
The grip for your body lock, you just go in?
You could, so for a body lock grip, you could use any sort of grip. It depends on how long your arms are. So like, you could go here if you got really long arms. I have shorter arms, so I usually do this. Don't worry too much about the specific grip you're making. Worry about where you're making the grip. Stay seated. Grip as low as you can. You want to be like at the hips. I don't want to be high with my body lock. That's not. Yeah, he could snatch up my arms. He could even sweep me pretty easily here. Yeah. So I want to be low on his hips. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. Let's give this a try, guys. 1, 2, 3. Let's go back now to an earlier sequence. So sit over here for me. When the guy puts his hips down to the floor, okay? So we come up for a second. So put this knee down, put this knee down here. So guys, we were here, we went for this arm drag. He picked his leg up to stop the back take. Then he realized, okay, I don't want this guy to enter my legs, so he puts the hip down. All right, let's actually rotate this way. Let's talk a little bit more about this, and then we'll talk about getting a heel hook from the top position. All right, so I'm here. The way I want you guys to get up here, we hold right here, and then I tuck this foot underneath my hips. Look, it's essentially just a technical stand-up. I'm gonna do a technical stand-up on this leg, and then my right arm's coming inside. If he goes to build up, so if I don't hold this, right? We're here, we both go to build up with me. Come on.
Yeah.
This happens. Not what we would want. But if I'm holding here, he builds up. I can go. We can do that. We can go right into a takedown, right? So if I'm here, if he goes to come up, look, I've already got his leg. So I'm gonna get in onto this takedown, move up to his hips, and get him down. Okay. Now, let's say I was here and I was able to get up, but I'm able to get up, but he goes back to his back and he draws his knees in. So I don't get to a body lock. Okay, I wasn't able to get to a body lock. Sometimes, of course, that's gonna happen, all right? We're gonna look now at falling back into the legs. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take a side step. So first, actually, we grip center shin, push his shins in. I'm gonna take a side step, then a crescent step up to his hip, then a front step. So now I'm flanking him with a Toreando. So I'm flanking him with a Toreando. Okay? Now he is gonna want to bring his hips out. No, just bring your hips out, shrimp. Yeah, he's gonna wanna shrimp and face me, right? If he's defending a heel hook, okay, how does he defend this heel hook? He defends by turning this way, which is like, that would be like, in this case would be a leg drag, right? So if I go here and he faces me, that's giving me the heel hook, okay? So I go here and stop right here. So see how he's doing this? This is creating a good barrier. So stay right here, don't move. For me to go towards him, he has a good frame here, right? This is like a good way to retain your guard. But what it does is, it puts the heel in a place to get caught. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna sit down a little bit, catch the top of the thigh, catch the heel. Okay, now when I sit back, I'm gonna throw my right leg over the top and get a 50-50. Okay, we could also have thrown our left leg to the inside and get a cross ashi, but I find usually this is a little easier to get. Okay, so now we have the heel and we turn down, let's turn this way, and we're gonna finish the inside heel hook. We'll do that next. Let's just practice catching the heel first. Okay, so from the beginning actually. I'm gonna be here. I go for the arm drag, picks the leg up. I grip, he sits down. I come up, but as I come up, he does a good job of shrimping back and bringing his knees in. Yeah, so I can't get the body lock. Okay, no big deal. I'm gonna move into Toreando passing instead. Okay, I push the shins in, we sidestep. Stay right here. Guys, whenever we're Toreando passing, there's 3 essential basic steps: side steps, crescent steps, and front steps, okay? I can't crescent step right away because I don't have space. I'm gonna cross my legs and I'm gonna probably fall down, okay? So I side step first, side, that gives me space to crescent step, then I front step. Okay, from here, usually what I would try to do is crowd in for a hip and knee post. And you can even do that and connect to this sequence, right? So I can go here, I get to a good hip and knee post, my left hand covers the hip, right hand covers the knee, he hips out. Don't circle, yeah, do this, good. He hips out, I come in, we catch, we hold the thigh, we can also hold the back of the knee. I fall down, and then I throw my leg inside. In this case, would be my left leg. Okay, let's do that again. So I come here, picks the leg up, I go here, he sits down. Yeah, like this could happen, right? That's totally realistic. And now I'm here, and I go here. Just stay right here. All right, guys, so we talked about a checklist rather than a sequence that I want you guys to think about, right? Here, what I'm doing is catching the heel first, and then I'm getting my entanglement. Let's talk now about how leg locks are like bowls of cereal. Okay? Imagine you went to the grocery store and you wanted to eat a bowl of cereal. Okay? What do you need to eat that bowl of cereal? Assuming you've got the bowl and the spoon at home. What you need is, yeah, you can sit over here for a minute. What you need is the milk and you need the cereal. Imagine you went to the store and you're like, I can't buy the milk first, I have to buy the cereal first. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. You can buy them in either order, right? You just need both things, then you go home and you eat the cereal, right? With leg locks, if you get the entanglement first, the entanglement, we could say that's the milk. The submission, that's the cereal. Does it matter? If you're going through the aisles and you see the cereal first, oh, Cap'n Crunch, okay, great. Like, you're gonna grab that first. Then you're walking through the aisles, oh, there's the milk. You get the milk second, okay? It doesn't matter. Or it could be that you see the milk first. Then you get the cereal, right? It doesn't matter. When you're doing leg locks, I don't care if I get the entanglement or the heel first. It's not important. We just want to get both of them. There are going to be times where you're going to get the entanglement first. I would say most of the time that's what's going to happen. You're going to get the entanglement first and then the heel. But if you only think about getting the entanglement first and then the heel, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities to get leg locks. And you're also at a higher level, you're gonna find that you will do things like you get the entanglement, then you get the submission, then they get out of the entanglement and you have to switch to another entanglement, right? Mm-hmm. So that could be kind of like, you go to the store, you get Cap'n Crunch, you go get your milk, but then you realize, I don't want Cap'n Crunch, you put it back, you get Lucky Charms, right? Something like that, right? So, yeah, so let's come back. So this time, actually, we'll just start from the top position again. So just to go over the main thing we're doing here, once you're on top, this is, I think, one of the easiest ways to go back for leg locks on the top. This is very, very easy if you get this down, okay? Because what it's working based on is he has to retain guard intelligently, right? It's very similar to the back take, right? If I were to go here, and he's like, oh, I don't want to get heel hooked, and he turns the wrong way, okay, just pass his guard, right? Like, no big deal, right? That would be even better, right? You go here, he turns to face me, you catch. Now when I sit down, I'll just put this leg flat for me. The reason why I don't like to throw the left leg inside is look at the knee, guys. See how it's basically almost out, right? Yeah, so this can work, but it's not ideal. I would rather this. Then you can, and another thing, let's turn this way. When you get here, guys, hold the heel like it's a football, an American football, and I hold the back of the knee. And I pull my hips in, and then throw this leg over here. And this is where we're gonna finish this from, okay? And this is an inside heel hook. This is very, very strong. Stronger than the outside, okay? So, does this make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Do we wanna see it again, or we're good? One more time? Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'm here, and I'm trying to flank him for a good Toreando pass. right? I'm trying to move around his legs to get into a pass. I'm putting him in a situation where his correct decision to retain his guard also gives me a heel hook. So if you guys go back and watch my my first match at the last European trials, this is how I won the first match. What happened was the guy pulled guard on me, I body locked him, I passed him with a body lock. Okay, after that, he basically I passed him with a body lock, we were here. It was a little bit different than this. But we were here and he started to re-guard. And as he re-guarded, I built up to a hip and knee. So instead of doing this to get to a hip and knee, I body locked him first, and then as he re-guarded, I came up. But I mean, otherwise it was the same thing. And then I sat back and I caught the heel. Okay, so if you guys want to see me actually do it, it was at my first match at European trials. So yeah, I really like this. I think it's a really good way to get into the legs against someone on bottom playing guard in an intelligent way, right? He's doing the right things to not get past. Okay, so one more time. Let's look from another angle. We are gonna sidestep, and we make all three basic steps. Side, crescent, front. Okay, this is a really good angle for passes. He hips out. That gives me the heel. Guys, he's hipping out because he wants his legs to face me. His legs face away, that's not a guard. I'm gonna just go to knee on belly, I'm just gonna pass. So he hips out, we catch the heel, and when I catch the heel, look at the grip, guys. We call this a football grip. Grip it and tug it tight to your torso. Hold tight. We don't want to be here. This is what we do when we finish, but for now we're just focused on holding it. I'm not ready to finish yet. I can't eat a bowl of cereal without my milk. I just have the cereal right now. Well, I guess you could, but it wouldn't be very good, right? So I have my cereal, we're gonna get our milk, then we're gonna eat our breakfast, okay? So I go here, I sit down, I throw the leg over the top. Let's go this way. Okay, we've got these two things. Let's finish off with this leg over here. We could finish here. We could finish here. We could finish here. But let's do this. This is this position is very basic and it's very fundamental. It's because it's very easy to finish people from here. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, question?
What is the actual finish pressure? Are you pushing?
That's the next move. We're gonna do it next, yes.
So we're not truly finishing, we're just getting to there.
We're just getting here, don't finish yet. We're gonna get here, yeah. But it's basically gonna be more or less the same stuff we did for the outside heel hook, but I would say it's gonna be easier here, okay? Yeah, any other questions? All right, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Guys, so I think I should have highlighted this a little bit more, but let's just go over it now. Yeah, part of this is like we're not just flanking, guys. We flank, and then I don't know if you guys know what a hip and knee pose is. This is a hip and knee pose. You probably know what it is, but you just don't use this name. So we're here, like this. The reason is if I just flank, he can retain guard. He doesn't have to. Well, you can do that, or yeah, he doesn't have to retain guard in the way that is going to lead to the heel hook. Stay right here. He could, for instance, cross over. Yeah, right? I want to crowd him like this. Now he has to shrimp out. If he goes to cross over or lasso with his foot, if I'm low here, it's very hard. But if I'm high here, he can lasso. Yes, and he can cross over, and that's not going to lead to a heel hook, right? If I'm here, I'm crowding him. The only real way he can retain guard here is by shrimping out. That leads to this. Does that make sense, guys? So try to make sure we're not just flanking. Flanking in and of itself is good. Sometimes you can't get inside to the hip and knee post. But if I can flank and get to a hip and knee post, 1, it's a better flank, and 2, it will lead to heel hooks. And then we can finish it. Okay, does that make sense? All right, let's give this a try. 1, 2, 3.